I started, it was like when I was dancing and doing all of this stuff, I always had all these ideas like costumes and I my grandfather was a tailor and taught me how to sew, and I was making all these costumes in a costume room, and I met Christina Applegate in dance class, and I just after one thing led to another, I ended up living with her. And in this closet room, I built this whole thing. It was all my costumes. Wow. And so then I decided that I wanted to do like shows. So then she was like, I know Johnny Depp. He just opened up the Viper room. One thing led to another. I ended up living with her. And in this closet room, I built this whole thing. It was all my costumes. Wow. And so then I decided that I wanted to do like shows. So then she was like, I know Johnny Depp. He just opened up the Viper room. We went to the Viper room. Next thing you know, we have shows there every week. And it just became this like amazing show. It was just me and 3 girls.
Your friends?
Just my friends. Yeah? Me, Carla, Joey, Lindsley. We were the girls.
Wow.
And we did that I brought in Carmit, and I brought in other girls, and Carmen Electra. And then there were like celebrities in the audience hearing about it out of nowhere, going like, this is this cool underground.
But you were driving this business train. I'm trying to stick with that part as well.
I decided
the creative side is amazing.
I decided at that time Johnny Depp said to me, there needs to be a name. What's the name? And after a while, and I talked about it with my brother, who's very creative, Steven, and I came up with Pussycat Dolls. I was inspired by a lot of different things. And so that was the business side of me, where I knew that it was like, okay, I had a business that was a show that was, a structured show that I had to do every single week at a certain time every single week. Not necessarily auditioning dancers, because I knew all the dancers from dance class, dancing my whole life, and I'd bring in different dancers, and it became a thing. It was just I remember Gwen Stefani saying to me,
so many names. I'm like, I know. Gwen, Carmen Electra, I know. Johnny Depp.
Yeah. Like Gwen was in the audience, and I imagine this is the stage right here. I would. When the curtains would close, I would jump off the stage. Instead of letting the curtains close all the way, I would jump off the stage and go, Gwen, do you want to be in the show? And she's like I didn't care.
Oh my God.
You did that. I respect that.
With everyone. I mean, I had, Gwen, Paris Hilton, Carmen Electra, Christina Applegate, Christina Aguilera, Scarlett Johansson, Charlize Theron, Eva Longoria.
They all came to watch?
These are all girls that were in the show. And so if you can dance, then you dance. If you can sing, then you sing.
I knew this part. I knew you didn't know this part. I knew that you were gonna love this part.
Yeah.
I didn't know Scarlett Johansson can dance and sing.
Scarlett, if you couldn't dance, my brother would write dialogue for them to be the MC.
Okay.
And he's such a good
Scarlett,
if you couldn't dance, my brother would write dialogue for them to be the MC.
Okay.
And he's such a good writer that it would be like people would be laughing, like it had a tongue-in-cheek kind of feel to it. So it turned into something that when finally Gwen said to Jimmy Iovine from Interscope Records, I'm doing this weird show that it's just sort of this crazy show. Do you want to come see it? And he was like, what is it? And she's like, I don't even know what to say. It's just called Pussycat Dolls, and it's just this weird show. And he came down, he brought Bono, and the next thing you know, I know.
I cannot believe your life.
I know, yes.
So
there
amazing.
was one night Prince was standing in the audience too, and I know. Anyway, we did the show, and then I had a meeting with Jimmy, and the next thing you know, he signed me and the name, and I had like 100 girls on the show. On the stage, well, let's just say 30.
Attached to the project.
Yeah, on the stage, this size of this table, in the show, because I just kept bringing them in. And some would leave, some would go, some would leave, some would go. And Jimmy said, okay, look, this is a recording group. And I'm like, I mean, I don't even know where to begin, because I was thinking it's a Broadway show.
Right.
And I'm all about live, and I love live theater. And he said, let's just get some songs, and let's maybe re-audition and get some girls and see what happens in the audition. And that's when Nicole came in and Melody.
So now you were actually
this is 10 years later.
Right. Now, so 10 years you built the brand.
Yep.
Jimmy saw the brand.
Yep.
By the way, talk about outliers moment in your in a career